Catherine of Aragon was born into a world of power and prestige. She was the youngest daughter of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain. Her parents were renowned throughout Europe. They were known for their strength, piety, and ambition. Catherine's upbringing was carefully curated to prepare her for a life of greatness. She received a rigorous education, steeped in the tenets of the Catholic faith. From a young age, Catherine exhibited a keen intellect and a strong will. These qualities would define her future. Life as a royal princess was not without its challenges. The political landscape of Europe was ever shifting. Catherine's parents used their children as pawns in a complex game of alliances. Catherine's destiny was mapped out for her. She was to be a bridge between Spain and other powerful nations. She bore this burden with grace and determination. Her early life, though privileged, instilled in her a deep sense of duty. Little did she know that her path would lead her to the throne of England. She would become a pivotal figure in one of the most tumultuous periods in English history. In 1505, at the tender age of 16, Catherine of Aragon arrived on English shores. She had been betrothed to Prince Arthur, the heir to the English throne. Their marriage was a strategic alliance. It was intended to unite England and Spain against their common enemy, France. England, at the turn of the 16th century, was a land on the cusp of change. The old medieval world was giving way to the dawn of the Renaissance. The young Catherine, with her Spanish customs and traditions, must have found England a strange and fascinating place. Her early years in England were marked by both joy and sorrow. Her marriage to Prince Arthur, though brief, was said to be a happy one. However, tragedy struck when Arthur died suddenly, just months after their wedding. Catherine found herself widowed and alone in a foreign land. Despite the tragedy, Catherine's story was far from over. Her destiny, it seemed, was still intertwined with the English throne. Fate and the machinations of powerful men would soon intervene. Catherine's life was about to take another dramatic turn. Arthur's death left a void in the succession. It also created a diplomatic dilemma. Catherine's future hung in the balance as negotiations began to secure her position at the English court. Henry VII, keen to maintain the Spanish alliance, sought a papal dispensation for Catherine to marry his second son, the charismatic and athletic Henry VIII. After a period of uncertainty and complex political maneuvering, Catherine and Henry were wed in 1509. Catherine, at the age of 23, became Queen of England. The early years of their marriage were a time of genuine affection and shared passions. Henry, young and enamored with his bride, seemed to adore Catherine. She, in turn, brought a touch of Spanish courtly elegance to the English court. Catherine possessed a sharp intellect and a strong sense of her own position. She proved to be a shrewd political advisor to her husband. She played an active role in courtly life. However, beneath the surface of this promising union, shadows were beginning to gather. The question of a male heir, crucial for dynastic stability, would soon cast a long shadow over their marriage. Catherine of Aragon was more than just a wife to Henry VIII. She was a queen in her own right. She embraced her adopted country and its people. However, she never forgot her Spanish heritage. As queen, Catherine was a patron of the arts and learning. She used her position to champion the cause of education for women. She was a devout Catholic, known for her piety and charitable works. Her piety, however, would later become a point of contention as the religious landscape of England shifted dramatically. Catherine's reign was not without its challenges. She endured multiple pregnancies. Sadly, most ended in miscarriage or the death of infants. The lack of a surviving male heir weighed heavily on her. It also created an undercurrent of tension in her marriage. Despite these personal sorrows, Catherine remained a steadfast presence by Henry's side. She proved herself to be a capable and resourceful ruler. In 1513, while Henry was campaigning in France, Catherine was appointed Regent of England. She governed the country with a firm hand. She famously rallied the English troops to victory at the Battle of Flodden, securing her place in English history. By the mid-1520s, the seemingly unbreakable bond between Henry and Catherine began to unravel. Henry, desperate for a male heir, became fixated on the idea that their marriage was cursed. He sought an annulment from the Pope, citing biblical verses that seemed to support his claim. It was during this period of marital strain that Anne Boleyn, a young lady in waiting with ambition and intelligence, caught the king's eye. Anne was everything Catherine was not: vivacious, flirtatious, and alluringly different. She refused to be the king's mistress, holding out for the promise of marriage and a crown. Henry, captivated by Anne, became even more determined to end his marriage to Catherine. He believed that his marriage to Catherine was null and void in the eyes of God. He argued that their marriage was against God's law, as she had been briefly married to his brother Arthur. Catherine, however, refused to be discarded. She fought Henry's attempts to annul their marriage with unwavering conviction. She argued that her marriage to Arthur had never been consummated. Therefore, her marriage to Henry was valid in the eyes of God and the Church. Her steadfast refusal to bow to the king's will only fueled his anger and determination. The stage was set for a dramatic showdown that would tear the very fabric of English society apart. The annulment became a matter of international intrigue and religious debate. Catherine, with the unwavering support of her nephew, Emperor Charles V, appealed to the Pope. She refused to relinquish her title or legitimize Henry's claims. The years that followed were a brutal test of Catherine's strength and resolve. She was stripped of her title, removed from court, and separated from her beloved daughter Mary. Yet despite the relentless pressure and the humiliation she endured, Catherine never wavered in her belief that she was Henry's rightful wife and Queen of England. She endured years of legal battles and emotional turmoil. Through it all, she maintained her dignity and her faith. Her plight garnered sympathy among the common people of England, many of whom viewed Henry's actions as cruel and unjust. Catherine's unwavering stance had far-reaching consequences. It not only defined her own legacy, but also shaped the destiny of her daughter Mary. Her refusal to be bullied into submission set an example of courage and resilience that would inspire generations to come. Throughout the ordeal, Catherine's primary concern was the welfare of her daughter Mary. She understood the precariousness of Mary's position, as Henry's quest for a male heir threatened to illegitimize her claim to the throne. Despite being separated from Mary, Catherine never ceased to fight for her daughter's rights and her future. Catherine used whatever means she could to maintain contact with Mary, sending her letters and messages of love and encouragement. She instilled in Mary a deep sense of her own royal lineage and her Catholic faith. These teachings would shape Mary's character and guide her actions when she too faced her own trials. The bond between mother and daughter remained unbreakable, despite the distance and hardship they endured. Catherine's unwavering love for Mary served as a source of strength and comfort during those dark days. It would be a love that transcended even death itself, as Mary would later dedicate herself to restoring her mother's honor and reclaiming her rightful place in history. In 1533, Henry VIII, unable to secure the annulment from the Pope, took matters into his own hands. He declared himself supreme head of the Church of England, effectively severing ties with Rome. This act, known as the English Reformation, had profound and lasting consequences for England's religious and political landscape. With his newly acquired authority, Henry granted himself the annulment he so desperately desired. He married Anne Boleyn in a secret ceremony. Catherine, now demoted to the title of Dowager Princess of Wales, refused to acknowledge the legitimacy of the annulment or Anne's marriage. The annulment had seismic repercussions throughout Europe. It solidified the schism between England and the Catholic Church, paving the way for the religious turbulence that would engulf the nation for generations. Catherine, though stripped of her crown and separated from her daughter, remained steadfast in her beliefs. She became a symbol of Catholic resistance against Henry's authority. Catherine of Aragon died at Kimbolton Castle on January 7, 1536, at the age of 50. She was buried with the dignity and respect due to a Princess of Wales, but not with the full honours accorded to a Queen of England. Her death, however, did not diminish her impact on English history. Catherine is remembered as a woman of great strength, dignity, and unwavering faith. She navigated the treacherous waters of the Tudor court with grace and resilience, even when faced with betrayal and heartbreak. She remained a staunch defender of her own rights and the rights of her daughter Mary. Catherine's legacy is complex and multifaceted. She was a princess of Spain who became a queen of England, a devoted wife who was cast aside, and a loving mother who fought tirelessly for her daughter's future. She was a woman whose life was shaped by the political and religious turmoil of her time, yet who never lost sight of her own convictions and her deep sense of faith. Catherine of Aragon's story is a reminder that even in the face of adversity, courage and dignity can prevail. She may not have won the battle for Henry's heart or the English crown, but she earned a place in history as a woman of unwavering principle and enduring strength. Her story continues to resonate with audiences today, a testament to the enduring power of her spirit. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more historical stories.